Hello everyone, welcome back to another CKA preparation video. In this video, we'll be learning about Ingress resource in Kubernetes. So let's get started. So Ingress resource is basically an API object that manages external access to services in a cluster, typically HTTP. Ingress may provide load balancing, SSL termination, and name-based virtual hosting. It can map traffic to different backends based on the rules that we define in the Ingress resource. Here, I have created a simplified diagram of the working of Ingress in Kubernetes. So basically, there is an Ingress controller. This Ingress controller can be any of the reverse proxy or load balancer available. For example, Nginx, HA proxy, like that. The most commonly used Ingress controller is Nginx. So this Nginx application will be running as a Kubernetes service of type node port or load balance type that will be exposed to external world. That means it will have an external IP that can be connected from outside of the cluster. Then it will be pointing to an Ingress class. An Ingress class is a connection point between the Ingress controller and the Ingress resource. The purpose of this is to avoid conflict between different Ingress controllers that can be deployed in the cluster. Then the Ingress resource contains the rules that are required to map the input request to different application services in the cluster. Okay, so let us consider an input request coming to the cluster. So the domain name is domain.com/app1. So the request will be flowing in this direction, and according to the rule specified in the Ingress resource, it will be mapped to the app1/app1 application service, and through that it will be connecting to the ports. Similarly, if an app2 request is coming, it will be routed to the app2 service as per the rules in the Ingress. Similarly for app3 as well. So this is the basic working of Ingress in Kubernetes, and we will see a quick demo. In this demo, I'll be configuring an Nginx Ingress controller, and we'll be routing two applications through Ingress resource, and we will see how that work. For that, first of all, I'll be installing the Nginx controller, which is a very commonly used Ingress controller. This is the site for this Nginx installation guide. I will be placing it in the description box. So copy the command. Here you have this command for this installation using YAML manifest. Copy that command, just apply. It will be installing the controller related services, the config map, and deployments, everything in this namespace, Ingress Nginx namespace. So as we discussed, you can see the service Ingress Controller service is running with type load balancer. It has a cluster IP. It has an external IP as well, but it is in pending stage. It will be allocated shortly. So before configuring the Ingress, we will create two services which is running the HTTP application. I will create two ports for that. In the Ingress Nginx namespace, I'll be creating them. The image should be HTTPD. Yeah, I have created the first port, the second port I have created. Now I'll be exposing these two ports to the services. But before that, I will just modify the index files. I will just write app1 in this index file. So, and app2, we will write app2 so that we can differentiate between the two applications. So the ports are ready. Now I will expose these ports to service. So SVC1 is the service name I'm going to create, and port is 80. Port 80, I am going to expose port 1. Okay, in the namespace, this one exposed. Now the port 2 I am going to expose to SVC2 service. Two services are created with a cluster IP type. I am just accessing the service using curl command. SVC2 should be app2. So they're working fine. Now, as next step, I'll be configuring the Ingress. I missed one point. See, there is an Ingress class created as part of the installation we have run here. You can create it. So the name of the Ingress class is Nginx. So we'll be taking this manifest example from here. I am pasting this here. Then I'll be naming it as Ingress Demo. Then the Ingress class name is Nginx. So I'll be doing that. Next, path. We will give a path app1. Service name is SVC1. Port is 80. Okay. For path to app2, we have to create okay. We are copying this path from here and pasting here and making the path as app2, and here it should be SVC2. Yeah. So the important points are here. One is the Ingress class name that should be properly mentioned here in this line, and this annotation also very important. So you have to add this. So I will save the file. I will deploy this manifest in the cluster. So this is created. Now we will test whether our configuration is correct or not. For that, we have to use this Ingress Controller IP address. But here, this external IP is not yet provided, maybe because of the problem in the environment. This cluster IP is available only inside the cluster. This external IP is the one which is exposed to the external world. So we have to use this external IP once it is available. But this will work using the cluster IP as well inside the cluster. Okay, I did a mistake here. We have to mention the namespace. So now I have updated the Ingress Yaml. Now I will apply this. Now we will test it again. App1, app1, app2, app2. How the domain resolution works. Okay, here the host will use HTTP host. Okay. Now I'll be replacing. I will replace this. Now instead of this, I can use the domain name. Domain.com. Yes, app2, app1. Yeah. So this configuration is working for us and Ingress is implemented. Thank you all for watching the video. See you in the next video.